Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Andy Jenkinson, the caravan industry expert. Hi, well, welcome to another video. This is a vlog, so this is what I'm just reporting back on. Right, today I've been out and about. I've been to a dealer and I've been going to for many years. And I was just saying to one of the salesmen, really, how's things, how's it going? Steady away was the reply. And I think that things generally are now levelled off quite considerably. Now, coming up, of course, is the Harrogate Show. This is this new show that's replaced the old original lawns that used to be at Hull that I went to for many years, and it got transferred to Harrogate. Unfortunately, it was when the COVID thing kicked in, so it never got off the ground, unfortunately. So it's basically stayed where it was, doing nothing until this year. So what do I think? Well, I think this year is going to be a bit of a tester. It's going to be, sorry about that, that's the wife's, what do you call it, thing that sprays out every now and again, air freshener thing. It gives me the frowns to death every time. Anyway, let's get back onto it. I don't know how it's going to be. There's going to be motorhomes there. It's going to be like an outdoor, they made it just like an outdoor caravan, motorhome, holiday home show, lodge extravaganza. Harrogate is a great spot to be, so people can go and have a wander off into Harrogate. If people, of a certain part aren't interested in the show, then somebody's got something to do. But at the lawns, it was always a bit difficult because Hull was about 6 or 7 miles away. But there as a dealer, they're going to the show. I know the show people have been trying to sell places, and Marquis, the big Marquis group, they're not going apparently. I thought they may have done, but they're not going. They're doing the NEC, of course. And I think that, again, like going forward to the NEC, the NEC is going to be a bit of a tester. I think it's going to be possibly a bit of a bun fight, because I think dealers will be having to fight for sales. So if you're fortunate enough to be able to buy a new caravan or motorhome, then you're probably in a bit of more of a bargaining power than you have been for some years. Now, just going on back to my dealer today, I was looking at some second-hand stuff, and I'm going to do a video on buying a second-hand caravan. Not a major detailed one, but detailed enough, things to look out for, that type of thing. I know there's a few people out there on YouTube doing this, and I've had a look and I've thought, well, I think some of the information isn't quite right, so I'm going to do my own, and if anybody picks me up, well, fine, that's fair enough. But I came across a couple, 3 kids, and they were absolutely in desperation. They were looking for 5/6 berth Tourer. Now the problem was as well is they were towing a Nissan Qashqai, which was a 1.5 diesel, which had a very low towing limit, so I think it was about 1350. So the curb weight must only be about 14 something. So they'd be towing virtually up to about 90%. And they'd been looking at caravans. They'd looked at a Sprite Major 6, which I think they're great vans, but of course too heavy. They'd come to this dealership. They'd found this particular van. It was Caravan. Obviously French, no longer imported into the UK, imported through Marquis. Marquis eventually, after a year or two, decided that they were just not a goer at all. A few things, no microwave. I did a review on one. I did a living test for a week on one up in the lakes some years ago, and it was a good solid van, but there were certain things that were missing. And then I did another one in a couple of years later after that on a fixed bed and washroom one, but again there were certain things on that van that was lacking. So anyway, they'd seen the six, but the salesman directed them. What intrigued me about the salesman was they came along, they came in, they went, we're looking for a six-berth van. We can only tow 1350 kilos. So, oh right, well you're limited. Well, he was correct there. But the first thing my next thing would have been, well, what's your budget? Are you looking to spend 20,000 or 10,000 or 7,000? That is that would be my key question to ask them. Because you could direct into a van and they look at it, love it, and it could tow it, and then they find out we can't afford it. So you wasted everyone's time. So I actually tagged on after the salesman sort of cleared off. He went to find out the MTPL on this van. So I said to him, I think in fact around about 1,300 kilos. I'm pretty sure about that. Anyway, the salesman came back, and yes, it was just over 1,300 kilos. So they were just about eligible to tow it. They were sort of falling in love with that van, but a few things started to put them off. The front felt enclosed because, of course, they only had a very small window in them. Massive, typical Continental idea of a massive big overhead locker. No microwave, no TV aerial. They didn't realise it had no TV aerial. And all of a sudden, it wasn't looking quite the van they thought, although they liked the triple bunks. Because I wanted a six-berth, even though they got 3 kids. And there was only 5 of them altogether. So they were saying, we've just been looking, we can't find anything. And I said, well, look, I didn't tell them anything about the channel. They didn't know who I was. I didn't announce myself. I didn't say, by the way, I'm Andy Jenkinson, I do the Caravan, I'm sure some of my competitors may have done, I don't know. But I just said, look, I was going around with my camera, doing a bit of stuff for practical. And I just said, look, I said, you are limited. Nobody waits lightweight vans like they used to do with like a family van. So everybody wants everything in them. So I said, it's obviously bumped the weight up. So I put them on to something like an Eldest Explorer. I said, look at the Eldest Explorer. There's I think it's a 5.6. I can't remember just top of my head, but anyway, that's 6. But I think that would have been just about towable for them. And also to look at some of the Venus range, because obviously we're looking at second-hand caravans. 12 grand, 13, 14 was about their sort of limit, I think, or how much they wanted to spend. So consequently, they were sort of, again, it's a bit restrictive. So I said, look, go into Caravan Finder. I'm not a massive fan of Caravan Finder, not because of I found it very useful, but I find that they illustrate a lot of the caravans that they sell on there off when the caravans was new, not as it is now. I never get over that, so I'm not a big fan of that. But on the whole, I find it very useful for pricing and that type of thing. So it is good for that, and of course a lot of people do use it and buy through their off dealers. And I told them to look at Venus range. They did make a 546 or something like that. Again, probably just about in their weight range. But I said, do check, do have a good scout about, and when if you do see one of the Venuses that you do think will fit the bill, I said, do the checks. Look out for leaks, that sort of thing. I said that all caravan manufacturers have had their issues, which we know they have. And also I told them about the Eldest Explorer. I said, but you are very, very limited. They love the sprites. I had to agree, but of course it was nothing that they required that was fitted in their criteria. Their only other option, of course, was to change the car. And if they changed the car, then they couldn't afford to buy a caravan. So I, sympathised in what they were trying to do. So my advice was really go out and find that elusive lightweight 6-berth. Rangers, still some knocking about at Series 5s. They're in good order. And they did a couple of 6-berths. And like I said, look, go and get that, because if you do change your car, then you do go and get a caravan, you put yourself into more and more money outlay, and you say, you know what, we don't know if we're going to use a caravan much. It's been a lot of money to outlay. So what I say to people is, spend as little as possible to get the best as possible, and see if you like it. Then if you want to chuck money at it, then that's down to you. But as we know on this channel, I don't agree with throwing loads of money. Yes, we look at these big lovely vans that 55,000 or whatever, and it's great and it's dream, and there's some lovely vans out there, but you don't have to spend that amount to enjoy going caravanning. So So really, that's my vlog for today, and hopefully you'll see some. Well, there is some reviews coming up, so there might be one before this actual vlog goes out, to be honest with you. But please keep liking, please keep subscribing, as I normally say, and let's try and get that 4K subscription. We'll see you in the next video, and in the meantime, happy caravan if you're at your caravan. Unfortunately, I'm not.